Сегодня в нашей студии, в моей студии, Zoom-студии, будет замечательный эксперт Zeo Sheehan.
Really, for the first 19 years of my life, I deal with non-believer. I was atheist.
Even if you have like bad mood, you can switch yourself and turn on the channel.
Yeah, but this comes after a lot of training. My job really is to tell from the Akashic records, where does this come from? What is the core or the seed? My job as a channeler is to connect with the wisdom with the higher wisdom and give you a suggestion. Suggestion is please choose A. The whole purpose of the crystal is to choose very specifically what energy do I want to amplify, what energy do I want more of in my life.
Именно Zeo после интервью с ним вдохновил меня на покупку кристаллов и вообще задуматься на этот счет.
Привет! Меня зовут Настя Халва, и на этом канале я помогаю тебе найти практики, чтобы узнать самого дорогого и важного человека в твоей жизни – это самого себя. Каждый мой выпуск наполнен практиками, которые ты можешь применить уже прямо сейчас. Досмотри этот выпуск до конца, и твое мышление, твоя жизнь точно изменится. Погнали!
Раз. Проверяю новый микрофон. Всем привет! Меня зовут Настя Халва, и вы на моем канале, где я помогаю раскрыть себя и услышать свои истинные желания. Сегодня в нашей студии, в моей студии, Zoom-студии, будет замечательный эксперт Zeo Sheehan. Zeo проживает в Австралии, и он является чтецом хроник Акаши и Ченнелить. Он занимается этим около 12 лет, и я была очень счастлива, когда он ответил мне и согласился со мной на интервью. Потому что я работала только с русскими ченнелерами, и мне стало очень любопытно, а как же поработать с ченнелером, который, во-первых, уже 12 лет в этом, во-вторых, все-таки на английском языке это немного другое. Сегодня вы увидите прямо в режиме онлайн, как происходит ченнелинг, и Zeo будет это делать. А также Zeo входит со своими клиентами в регрессии, это в прошлой жизни. А еще он занимается кристаллами. В общем, вас ждет удивительный выпуск. Я желаю вам приятного просмотра. Ну и, конечно, обязательно делитесь своими впечатлениями внизу в комментариях. А если вы на меня еще не подписаны, то обязательно подписывайтесь.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, are you living in Australia right now?
Yeah, I'm in Melbourne.
Oh, wow. Where are you from originally?
Originally, I was born in Switzerland and I grew up in Switzerland. Beautiful country, not cheap, but beautiful.
Yeah, but why are you living in Australia? You like it more?
I do like it more. My mother is from here. Yeah, when I finished my studies, I came to Australia.
I want to start from your story. How did it start? How spiritual appearance in your life? I was reading about you, and I found information that it started 20 years ago. Is it right?
Died. I'm a little bit older now, so probably now 25 years ago.
Wow. Could you tell about it and how it happened, where it happened?
Really, for the first 19 years of my life, I deal with non-believer. I was atheist and not so much interested in all the spiritual things. For me, the start is very random because I remember I was working in Zurich in the winter, and I just walked past a bookshop and I see a book. The name is Healing Buddha, and I was like, oh, okay, this $2, I will buy it. And I think just the fascination with all the description of Buddha, it touched something inside of me. And I then started with Buddhism. So I then went to Buddhist meditation, bought some more books, studied some more. And then very soon I opened my the amount of information. So that I read different books about spirituality. So not very far, maybe half a year later, I started to open and read from all the different directions. And it really started quite fast, my progress into the spiritual and healing field.
Right now, it is becoming more and more popular. In Instagram, in different social media, people start to speak about spiritual things, manifestation, you can do it, and even very material people start to believe in this. But you started it 25 years ago. It wasn't mainstream. Did you try to popularize it?
Yes, I think in the beginning, it's a very beautiful new discovery. And of course you become excited almost to the point where you want to tell everybody about it. I learned very fast that it's pointless to be like a priest, like trying to preach to people if they're not ready or if they're not interested. So I think from my family, I got a big rejection, and from friends, they're also not interested. So I just learned very fast that this is quite a private journey. You cannot push it. So you have to find people who are also excited about it. So this was a good lesson right in the beginning. It's like, even if I'm super excited, it doesn't mean other people are on the same wavelengths or they're open for it.
When did you start your channeling path?
I think the channeling path is, I did some more intensive studies with another channeler, and also with a 1-year program where I do a lot of meditation, a lot of spiritual purification and training. At the end of this 1 year, I started to get some connection to the Akashic record or to the higher information. And so then I still have to practice for 3 more years and do additional trainings to really make sure that the information is very clear, detailed, that my mind is not interfering. And so I would say the training was in 2005. And then I really only started my work more professionally 3 years later in 2008.
How do you clean your channel, and do you need it? Because you're a person, you have emotions, problems,
I think, my experience is it is like training your muscles. There's a certain amount of purification you have to do. Maybe some people are very talented. They practice spiritual things for many, many lifetimes. So for them, they don't have to do so much purification, not so much training. Everything switches on very fast. But for most people, it's just like, going to the gym and training your muscles. You're just purifying, bringing light into all the energy centers, going through personality changes, learning certain lessons, releasing old emotions. And so I think it's just a matter of practice, of repetition. So even today, I have in my personality, I have my emotional up and down. It's not so extreme like it was before, but I still have my personality. But because I've purified my energy, I can switch, I can switch the higher energy. I can switch into it very much faster.
Even if you have bad mood, you can switch yourself and turn on the channel.
Yeah, but this comes after a lot of training.
Are you sure always that it is clear information? And could you confuse it with mind voice?
I think this problem was very much there in the first 2 years. So in the first 2 years, there was a much bigger struggle to go, okay, I'm in the channel, and now comes the opinion or the influence. So in the first 2 years, when I'm practicing, this was a big problem. You have to be extremely careful just to stop and to be silent and to reconnect every time your personality or your personality mind is trying to give an opinion. In my experience, I did another 6 months training, and this other training is precisely to dissolve the influence of the mind.
Could you tell us how it works, how you can connect to the source, and what you can give people when you read their chronics?
Well, I think for me, the principle is always the same. It's the connection where you come into your center You connect to the earth, you open, you connect to the source. You set a clear intention that you only want to serve, you only want to do the best for the person that is receiving. And you simply start to bring more energy, more light into yourself. As I said in the beginning, I had to practice for many years until this became strong, powerful, and you can feel that more energy is coming into your being, and you're actually transmitting the energy through your heart and through your voice to the other person. So for me, it is really a process of centering, connecting, and receiving the download of energy. Usually I do a preparation for 5 minutes. When I give a session, I get the person to do the same process with me, and then I'm ready to go.
And do you feel something in your body when you turn on to source?
For me personally, really my body temperature goes up, because it is like, it's like putting your finger in the socket, getting more electricity. It's really like more energy is running through you. And so my body temperature goes up, usually a couple of degrees. I feel like I'm 5 degrees hotter. Definitely more energy is pouring through your system. Then when I finish, I always have to put on a jumper because I get cold, because there's less energy in my physical body.
Does it influence on your health, your state, your mood?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it is very high frequency energy, it's energizing. It is uplifting for your body. Of course, it is healing as well. It rejuvenates the cells. So it has a very beneficial effect for me. But also, if you imagine you're receiving more electricity, you also have to rest, because your nervous system needs to adjust and incorporate and integrate this high energy. Right? So it's a bit like, let's say you eat a big meal, a big feast. Maybe you have more energy, but then your digestion has to take time to process all the food.
Do you need to prepare like your stomach, if we compare with food, and you need to prepare your body for receiving a lot of energy?
Everything that lowers your energy, of course, will make it more difficult to channel, right? So I never eat meat, I never eat fish. I just have a light and a vegetarian diet on the days where I'm channeling, because anything that is heavy, anything that lowers your energy just means I have to work harder. I have to lift my energy more. And so same applies for sleep. If I've had a very good sleep, then my energy is already on a higher level. So it doesn't take much energy to really lift my energy to the Akashic records. The more you are on a high level of energy, the easier it is to go even higher, to connect to spiritual energy.
What do you tell people from chronics, and how it helps them in their life?
I'm interested in finding what is the limitation, what is the blockage that is stopping the person in this moment. What is the pattern or the invisible energy that is not allowing them to open, to expand more? My job really is to tell from the Akashic records, where does this come from? What is the core or the seed that started this blockage? What is the root? What is the root of this blockage? And let us begin to dissolve it. Let us pull out the root. Let us delete the fears, beliefs, agreements, contracts, the patterns that keep this limitation in the subconscious. So this is my style of using the Akashic records.
Would you amplify this information, like beliefs, limits of person, to like material life, how they can use it?
I make an example, right? So for example, if you have in the past life, you have lives where you are a monk or a nun, and so you say money is bad, I don't need money, I'm just only focused on spiritual connection. So you make agreements, vows, contracts I will never have money in my life. When I tell you the story and you realize this, and I ask you, please let go of this agreement, let go of this belief, of course, then the person has to make this choice and has to strengthen a new belief. Maybe the new belief is money is okay, money is part of life, I need money, I'm happy to receive money. And so then in this transformation, in the day-to-day life, money starts to flow into this person's reality more easily. Right? So this is a very simple example around the subject of money, but it could also be around the subject of relationship or the subject of sacrifice or the subject of whatever is a big problem for a person.
And do you reduce this belief?
This is part of the process, is to understand what is a belief or what is the agreement, what is the contract. Immediately we delete. Immediately I'm asking the person to choose to dissolve it, to delete it.
Maybe could you demonstrate one example on myself, like what limits or beliefs do I have?
Okay, you're putting me on the spot. Great. I have to. Usually, I take a little bit of time to make this connection. I will give it. I'll give it a quick try. Okay. So.
Okay.
Let me see if I can make the connection. I'm just gonna clear a little bit of energy out of my field here. So I'm not going to go totally into the life. I just give you a little bit of an impression. What I receive is in some of your past lives, you are very sensitive and very connected to the spirit world. What I can feel, what I can also see, is it creates a difference between your personality and all the other people in the village, right? So you're a little bit different in the past life.
I'm different from people right now or in past life?
In the past life, right? In the past life, you're a little bit different from the people around you because you have a stronger connection, a little bit more sensitivity. The result is really in the past life, the result is a little bit of insecurity. Insecurity means when I share my message, when I speak to people, I tell them there's a fairy, I tell them there's a God, I tell them there's angels. Most people are not always open. They go like, oh, I have no time, or I have to look after the potatoes, or I have to look after the cows, go away, you're crazy. So this is my impression is insecurity comes from many people in the community or the village who just are not interested. A lot of these situations in the past life, and the result for you, for your soul, is insecurity. Is my message important? Is my connection important for other people? Is it just personal? Is it just special for me? So these questions and a little bit of insecurity, this comes from the past. As a soul, you decide, do I just keep it for myself or do I try to share again? Because of course it is very inspiring, it is beautiful, and you want to share it. So again, in this lifetime, you are obviously pushing forwards, you're trying to share again. The summary is, if you connect to this fear or the thought in your head, my message is not important, or my message is not many people are interested, or not many people want it or value it, this you can then release, right? So I would say this, every time you feel this insecurity or every time you hear these thoughts, just understand it comes from the past. You breathe, you release it, you send that old thought or belief and the old insecurity, you send it into the earth, you send it into the purple crystals. You just take some minutes to respect, to honor these difficult lifetimes where it comes from. To yourself in the past lifetime, you're saying, it's okay, no need to continue with this fear, insecurity, etc. Right? So this would be my feedback.
had conversations with some channelers, and they told me that everyone can do it. It's like skill. Yeah,
That's right. That's right. It's just a matter of practice.
right now I feel that we have another vibrations. Maybe before you need 2 hours, 3 hours, but right now you can do it for 1 month, 3 months. Is it true?
It depends on the person, really. I mean, as I say, there's repetition and practice. And on the other hand, there is professional training, right? So any skill, for example, you learn a new language, you can use YouTube. But if you have professional trainer, you will be much faster. So as I say, if the person has many, many spiritual lives in the past, then bang, it will switch on very fast.
How do you check the homework? Do you turn on your students' channel? How do you check it?
The truth is, I'm still building. I'm not actually ready to teach students how to do this. I only teach one introduction day. So basically, I say, this is what you need to understand to begin to practice. But all the detailed coaching to help a person really move forward, this I haven't started yet. Because for me, it's more important to teach people the more basic, how to purify your energy, what to do with personality problems, how to use crystals. Currently, all my focus is building these programs so people can later, maybe next year, they can switch on and they can connect on the internet to do these steps. But to take some person to the Akashic records, you have to be careful. It's like personal coaching. You need to be very precise so that the person is going on the right direction.
And how do you take it, for example, from you, reading chronicles?
Yeah, see, the personal session is really, it's a combination of channeling. So where I receive the information from the spiritual being, whoever is the spiritual being that wants to connect to the client, really most of the reading is information and answering the questions. So if the person has several questions, it's answering the questions, getting clarity, getting some wisdom, getting some guidance. And the Akashic reading, releasing the limitation, is only one part of the session.
What is your job right now? Reading chronics for people?
Correct. Reading, channeling, and reading the Akashic records. And I also work with the crystals. See, I make the crystal bracelets. So this is part of my job. I show you. You can see there's all my crystals, and there's where I make the crystals.
Wow, amazing!
So
yeah, I have questions about crystals. How I understand it, and could you correct myself? Right now, there are a lot of channelers, and I have noticed that someone works with chronics, someone works with different dimensions. Is it right? And how do you choose what dimensions are you working? Or you choose, for example, chronics, and you work only through chronics?
I think this is really discovering your talent, where sometimes you have to try something and then you realize it's okay, but I love this more, right? So in the beginning, I started with the Akashic records. I did zero channeling, just connecting to the field of information, receiving the past life information, because this comes very easy. This comes more naturally for my being. And the channeling only comes 2 years later when I am, I'm clearing. I'm training, I'm practicing. I'm making this energy stronger that comes into my being. Where do you begin? You always begin by just receiving light through the center of your body. This is always a basic.
And how do you understand that it's chronics?
Very good question. See, I only understand it because I have a coach, I have a professional person. So when I'm practicing, the person can watch and say, okay, now you're connecting to the Akashic, now you're connecting to your mind. But I would say when you are working with different channelers, I think everything comes back to your heart. So if you feel when I'm talking to this person or I'm receiving a session from this person, I feel very good. I feel, wow, this feels really true. This feels really correct. I think this is always the way to decide. I will continue, or I will continue to connect. Sometimes you go to a channeler and you receive the information and it goes like, okay, maybe one piece of information. Yeah, this feels really true. This feels great. And the other 80%, like this. In my personal experiences on the spiritual journey, you have to try.
How do you receive the information? From pictures or what?
When I was training, I was shown that there's different styles of receiving information, right? So in the beginning, I used to hear everything like a voice in my head. After some time, they took this away, and then I have to learn how to trust my feeling. And then later on, I had to trust that when information downloads into my system, I just know, bang, I just know very fast. And right at the last part of the training, I received some visual, I see some pictures, right? So today, most of the information is like a download. Light comes into my system. It comes into my heart, my feeling, my energy, and then my mind is connecting to the feeling. So I understand. At this point, it's a combination of seeing a picture and receiving the knowing.
Could you explain what happened in the world right now? And I'm originally from Russia, from Moscow, and it's really very awful what happened. But last days, I think that it's really very strange that right now Russian is isolated from the world. And of course, I don't defend the activity of my president. I'm not a politician. I noticed that all people forgot about like COVID and restrictions of COVID. And I feel that it's like plan or something like this.
You know, my personal opinion is usually the media is always directing people's attention where they want. So the people who have the most power or the most influence in this world, they're always using the media as a tool to move people's attention or to move people's opinion or to move people's fear in a certain direction. So this is nothing new. This has always been the case. The opportunity I see, even in this conflict, is for people to realize, first of all, that conflict and war is not useful. It never brings solutions. And also to realize we are all one humanity. So whether you are Russian, Ukrainian, whether you're American, whether you're European, we are all one, and we have to work together. So I think this realization and also the heart, the feeling that more and more people want to work together, want to connect together, this is really coming to the surface more powerfully at this point. Some people that have great influence, they prefer that everything is black and white. You know, you have the good people, the bad people. They don't want more love, more compassion, more communication. They want more hate, negativity, conflict. You can see even with COVID, there is a lot of separation. Maybe it's separation between families, separation between countries, separation between the beliefs of different people.
The same happened right now.
Correct. So it's really because on this planet, the energy of oneness, the realization that love is a solution and that connection is the solution and that working together, this is really the solution. This awareness is coming to the surface and other forces are trying to push it down again. That's really what's happening.
I'm very curious about one question. People who suffer it, ordinary people, old people, people like me, because I was following for entrepreneurs, bloggers like me, and Ukrainian people, for me, are the same like Russian because our appearance is the same language. And one moment I saw what happened with them, and it's real true. It's not very far from myself. Is it them karma, why they were occupied, why they suffered?
See, I think the circumstances in every person's life are always there to bring about transformation. So even if a person is suffering, or even if a person has a very difficult life, the way they are looking at the situation or the way they are interpreting the situation has a big influence. Either they are thinking, I'm the victim, my life is horrible, I have no power, or they are thinking, I have to do something, I have to move, I have to leave the country, whatever. So I think the circumstances, it doesn't matter how difficult they are pushing people into learning, into growth.
Is it their learning right now? I mean that there is purpose why these people are in this situation right now.
I personally believe there is always a karmic component. Karmic component means maybe in 5 lifetimes they were pushing people out of another country, so now they are experiencing the same situation but just from the different perspective. So karma just means you are seeing the same situation from 2 perspectives. It's not punishment, it's just seeing everything in a balanced from 2 angles. It doesn't make the situation right. There's still truth, fairness, and things that are not right in this world. But I'm trying to explain the karmic component. Why is a person born in this country? Why is a person born in Africa and dies of hunger?
Is it from previous life?
Yeah, it's always from previous life. When you see the previous lifetimes of the person, the way they are thinking, the way they are looking at the world, what is happening in their life, everything is logical.
So, for example, I was born in a country where is the war right now. And could you, like channeler, predict my death or something like this or not? I believe that my life consists of my choices and I can choose something, and you, like channeler, you can see several of my choices and consequences of them.
So this is like probabilities, possibilities of the future.
Yeah.
So this becomes very complicated. It is a bit like the Dr. Strange movie with multiple dimensions and realities.
Yeah, is it like this?
Yeah, it's really a bit like this. But see, that my job is not really to predict what will happen if you choose A, B, or C. My job as a channeler is to connect with the wisdom with the higher wisdom and give you a suggestion. Suggestion is please choose A. So the recommendation just means if you follow A, everything will be more smooth, everything will be more graceful, your journey, your development will be more beneficial to your soul. And then you can choose. You can still choose to go B or C. The more a person learns to listen to their heart, the more they are naturally going to choose the best option.
You can see only one of opportunity.
You see, the spiritual beings, they don't really want to waste your time. So they see another 10 options, but they will not talk about it because this option is the best possible way to go, right?
Only right now. For example, tomorrow or in hour, it can be another option.
See, from their perspective, they can see maybe for a month or maybe for 2 months, definitely this is the best option. But if you come back to me in 2 months' time, of course, the world has changed, your situation has changed, your mind has changed. So then maybe it is slightly different. From the spiritual perspective, really, the way I experience it, the spiritual beings really see things in terms of, for months, they can be relatively confident that this is the best choice. For approximately a year, they can say most likely this is the best avenue to go to, because everything depends on the choices of all the billions of people on this planet. So even the spiritual beings cannot make total predictions.
I tell you my opinion. I see and understand that everyone needs to develop his spiritual. It's very important, and it's like soul requires it. I see that parallel, you need to work with your subconscious, with your psychic, because all of them, I believe, have different traumas, and these programs don't give us open ourselves, even open our spiritual path. What do you think about it? And do you do this work with psychologists?
Yeah, so the development is really always about proactively developing yourself and then healing. So I always call this, when I teach people, I say, you're either creating your life or you're healing something from the past. You know, it's like when you're eating, you're drinking and you're eating. So you're switching back and forth. So either you're creating something in your life, you're learning, you're developing, you're meditating, or you're healing something. So you're transforming something that has to go, that has to be transformed out of your life. And as long as people understand in life, healing is always going to be part of life. So this is the transformation of the subconscious, the releasing of old emotion, the changing of your beliefs. So you just have to be aware, asking the question, am I creating or am I healing something?
Do you think that you can do only one or both?
Once you have the habit, once it is normal, there is no difference. See, like a person who is used to doing exercise is not like something separate from the rest of their life. It is just part of life, right?
Okay.
So they do meditation, they do exercise, they cook the lunch, they do a little bit of healing. You see, it's not such a different thing. It's just one element of life.
You need healing your past and create your healing past. Is it work with your psyche?
See, healing has many aspects to it. Healing can mean healing how you think about yourself. Healing can mean healing your past life. Healing can mean crying and releasing some old pain. Healing has many aspects to it. So healing happens on many levels, on many dimensions.
Is it important?
Yes, it's absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. See, because healing, otherwise, the tendency is for a person to always go in the same pattern, and then they go further. But there's a lot of repetition if you don't do healing.
Okay, and the last question I wanted to ask you about crystals. Honestly, I don't believe in crystals, and it says, oh, crystal, it works. It's like for me. And I know that you are deep in crystals. And could you explain why? Maybe it's my mistake that I don't believe in crystals and I need to try.
What I love about crystals is the energy of a crystal is very consistent. I give you an example of a crystal, right? So here I have the purple crystal. This crystal, the energy coming from the crystal is consistent. So the energy coming from this crystal is always transform, right? And then maybe you have another crystal, maybe you have a green crystal, and the green crystal is always sending the energy healing. The whole purpose of the crystal is to choose very specifically what energy do I want to amplify, what energy do I want more of in my life. For example, you have a clear crystal, and the clear crystal is always going more light. For
your body?
Or whatever you want to use it. It doesn't care. But this is just like choosing, like when you're cooking, you are choosing cinnamon, you are choosing a herb, you are choosing oregano. You're choosing very specifically the spice you want to put into the lunch. And with the crystal, it's similar. You're choosing very precisely the energy that will be useful. So if I'm meditating, I choose this because I need more light. If I am angry or frustrated, I choose this because I need the energy to help me transform. If I have
crystal absorb the energy or give you energy?
Well, the crystal is really like a transmitter. It just is receiving and transmitting. Yeah, if the crystal is alive, if the crystal is working properly, then it is just always sending energy into the field. And so when you understand what crystal brings which energy, it is just another tool. You know, some people don't need the tool, some people are not interested. And for some people, maybe they use it for some time in their life and then they don't need it again. So it is just another tool. Just like meditation is a tool, singing is a tool. It's just another tool on the journey.
Okay, I got it.
Именно Зео после интервью с ним вдохновил меня на покупку кристаллов и вообще задуматься на этот счет. Теперь у меня есть такой маленький алтарик, и я стала покупать кристаллы, спать с ними, и действительно вижу, что они работают и как будто бы забирают всю негативную энергию, дают мне позитивную. Ну или, по крайней мере, я в это очень сильно верю. Это белый кварц. Что дает этот природный минерал? Помогает справиться с переживаниями и проблемами, исцелиться на метафизическом уровне, впитывает и нейтрализовывает отрицательную энергетику, что я действительно заметила, а помогает развиваться женской интуиции и найти баланс между инь и янь.
What I need, for example, right now for make more money in Los Angeles?
I think I will answer in 3 parts. The first part is you have to connect to the earth, right? So that means the energy from your stomach, right? So the energy that comes down to your, I will stand up for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So the energy that comes here, you have to make sure it continues into the earth. So that means you need to go outside, connect to the grass, send your energies down, right? So you imagine you are standing on the earth. Down here is the crystal. So you're sending your energy down into the earth, connecting to the energy of the earth, so you can receive the support from the earth energy. Going outside, doing some exercise, but consciously connecting your energy into the earth. Right? You're sending it down, and you're breathing up the supportive energy of the earth. So that's number 1. Number 2, you are strengthening this belief. What I do is valuable. People want it. People are calling for it. People will pay me for it. Right? So just you're strengthening this belief. It's like closing your eyes and going, okay, what I do feels good. What I do is valuable. And people, so you're imagining all the people that want this. They're so happy for this. They're so happy to give you money for it. So you're strengthening this belief through visualization, or maybe you're writing on a piece of paper, right? You're writing, people value what I do. People love to give me money for what I do. People love to receive my blog. And then you just keep reading it, put it in front of you. So you're strengthening this belief, right? So you feel good, not just about yourself, but you feel good to receive money. You feel good that there's lots of people, making this belief stronger. And of course, the other side is when you feel, there's not many people don't want to give me, you have to transform this belief, right? So you just spend some time to breathe out this belief, the insecurity, the feeling. So that's the healing part. And the other part is the creating part. Yeah, so this is number 2. Number 3, my feeling is really, it's a combination of feedback for how do I present myself? Feedback from, maybe these are specialists in marketing or specialists in online blogging, I don't know. So you get some feedback going, do I have to offer different types of services, or do I have to make a subscription, or do I have to charge more for my subscription? So you get feedback, plus you are trying different things. Yeah. So you maybe you get feedback and one person says, make 2 levels of subscriptions. So one person subscribes for $5, another person subscribes for $20. The person that subscribes for $20 gets more services. This person gets basics. So I don't know. But this is like professional feedback and then trying to make adjustments. So these are the 3 things. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I hope we see again.
Делись в комментариях, как тебе выпуск, что ты узнал нового. И если у тебя есть вопросы, то обязательно задавай их внизу в комментариях, и я на каждый вопрос отвечу. И чуть не забыла. Зео я рекомендую как прекрасного ченнелера, особенно если вы хотите попробовать англоговорящего специалиста. Ну а теперь точно пока-пока и до следующего выпуска.